In this lecture, I am going to talk about some of the localized mesh refinement options that are present inside ANSYS Workbench software. For that, I already have opened the ANSYS Workbench, have loaded the static structure onto the project schematic, and then also I have imported the geometry which I have provided to you in the resources tab of this video into the geometry of this ANSYS Workbench software, and I'm going to just double click on the model cell so that I will open ANSYS Mechanical. And once I double click, see here ANSYS Mechanical has opened and we are having two bodies. This is body 1 and this is body 2. So as I previously told you, if you want the refinement at a global level, you can just try changing the resolution option. But if you want at a localized level, you can use the options which I am going to show in this particular lecture. So first of all, what I will do is I will generate a mesh with the default settings which I am having. So see here, I think I was able to generate the mesh, and don't worry about this information warning. We are going to see what is that in the coming lectures. So a default mesh has been generated, and if you can observe here, this particular body has been meshed with the tetrahedrons and this particular body was meshed with hexahedrons, and we are going to talk about that in the next video, so I'm not going to talk about this. Let us say I want to refine my mesh on this particular body. So for that, what I have to do is I have to go right click and say insert, and now I have to go to some settings called as a localized settings. Localized settings means nothing but whatever the object you are selecting, for that only these settings will be applicable. If you change at the global level, which you can change from here, if you change it at the global level, these settings will be applied to everybody which is present here. But here what I want to do, I want to refine the mesh here on this only body. I don't want to refine the mesh here. So for that, what can I do is I can click on mesh and say insert, and I can go for an option called refinement. And once I have selected this refinement option, see here, refinement option will have three levels. One is the coarse level, 2 is the medium level, 3 is the finest level. So first you need to select what type of entity you want to refine the mesh on. Here you can either select a surface, you can select either edge, or you can select either a vertex. So first of all, what I am going to do is I want to say refine the mesh only at this particular curve or fillet. So I am going to select this fillet. So I'm going to select this fillet, and if you are not able to directly select this fillet, go to the selection filter options, and here select the face selection option, and then only you will be able to select. And once select this one and click on apply here, and once you clicked on apply, you can give different levels of refinement. Right now we will see with the refinement level 1, so we'll generate the mesh. So we'll generate the mesh and we'll see what will happen here. So we have given a refinement level. So if you observe this particular curve or this particular surface, the mesh has been refined. Now what I will do is I will go to the refinement option. I will go to the highest level of refinement, which is nothing but 3. See, can't increase beyond 3. Okay, so I'm going to just right click and say generate mesh, or say update mesh, because already we have generated the mesh. And if you are able to see here, it has refined the mesh further. Likewise, you can also go to the refinement, and instead of the surface, you can either select an edge also. Let us say, especially if you have chamfers, there you can use this particular option of edge refinement rather than the total surface refinement. So you can go here, right click, I will say insert, say refinement again, and now instead of the selecting the face, I will go to the selection filter, change it to edge selection, and then I will select one edge, and I will say apply, and here as usual I can give the refinement level. Let us say I will go with the refinement level of 2 for this purpose. So if I increase this refinement level to 2, it means medium mesh we are going to get. So I'm going to right click and say generate mesh, and you will be able to see that this mesh will be updated. See here, you are able to see at this particular edge the mesh is updated. So you can directly use the surface refinement at different blends or fillets and other things. Where you have straight edges like chamfers, drafts and other things, you can go for the edge refinement options. And now you can also have, if you have any sharp corners which are critical for analysis, which you can't remove out from the geometry, there you can go for the refinement of vertexes. So it's like as usual, you can select insert, and here you are going to select the refinement level, and you are going to go to the selection filter, go to the vertex filter, and here we'll just select this particular vertex. And once you select this particular vertex and click on apply, now you need to select the refinement level as usual, and you can just right click and say generate mesh, and you will be able to see based on this particular vertex, it is going to refine the mesh here in its surroundings, and the area is already by default that is set. We cannot change that area in this particular option. So refinement, I will change it to 3 for having a better understanding of this, because you will be able to see more clearly. So I'll just select 3 and I will just right click and say generate mesh, and yeah, now you are able to see based on this vertex and taking a sphere of influence, it is refining the mesh. Next thing is, if you want to create body sizing, let us say you go to the mesh option. In the global setting options, you can change the element size here, but what will happen if you change the element size here, it will be applied to total bodies. But I don't want to apply it to total bodies, I want to apply it only to this single body. What I will do is, I can right click, say insert sizing, and in the sizing I will select the body. So in order to select the body, I will go to the selection filter, I will select the body option, and now what I will do is I will select this particular body and I will select apply, and here by default, see, the software has calculated the default element size to be 6.32 mm for this particular body. So what I will do is, I will just if I want to increase the density, if I want to refine the mesh more, what I will do, I will give a value less than 6. Let us say I will give a value of 4, and now what I will do is I will right click and say generate mesh, and once you are generating the mesh, you are able to observe that this particular option has refined or created more number of elements on this particular body. Likewise, this sizing option can be used as a refinement option for bodies, because you can't directly use the refinement option over on the bodies. You can only use the refinement option on either surfaces or edges or vertexes, but you can use this sizing option on any kind of element, geometric element. It may be volume, it may be surface, it may be a vertex, it may be a edge. But remember, when you are using this body sizing, there is a specific option you need to set when you are using this option for vertex. So that we are going to see. Right click and say insert. Now I will be going to the sizing option, and in the sizing option, what I will do is I will go and switch to the vertex option. And once I select the vertex option, let me select this particular vertex and say apply. And once I click on apply, see here the options have changed. Previously, for surfaces, for bodies, for edges, if you use the sizing option, the options are same. But here we have two things to give out. One thing is called as a sphere radius. So sphere radius means nothing but the sphere of influence. So if I give, let us say 5 mm, what it will do, the software will calculate 5 mm in all 3 directions, and taking that as a radius, it will create a sphere around this particular vertex. So whatever the element sizing you are going to give here, it is going to change the elements in the entire sphere of influence. Now let me define it, let us say 5 mm, and press enter. You will be able to see a preview of the influence. So see here, now if I change anything here, if I change the element size, what will happen? The changes will propagate to the total elements that are present inside this sphere of influence. Previously, when we are using refinement also, there was a default sphere of influence that was already created, that is by default there in the software. But here we can manually set it up. So if I increase it to 10, the sphere of influence will increase. So once you have determined what is the sphere of influence and have given the particular value manually, then you can either increase the element size or decrease the element size. So if I decrease the element size to 2 and right click and say generate mesh, you will get a more refined mesh, especially in the sphere of influence of this particular vertex which we have selected. So this can also be used as a refinement refinement tool for this type of geometric entities. In the next lecture, we are going to see about the meshing methods that are present inside ANSYS Workbench software. Thank you.